Hey guys, Desolator Magic here with the Core 21 meme review, spoiler video. I wish they would do a meme set. They would sell so much product. They already did a cat-themed secret lair, and I'm sure that was the best-selling one ever made. So, first up in the spoilers, we've got Rada Heart of Keld, a 3/3 for 3 legendary creature because they named her. I don't know why that's their parameter instead of, should a player be allowed to have two of these in play? Ever. So as long as it's your turn, she has first strike. They need to print that on more cards. That is so much more fair than somebody with a line of 5 dumpy little tiny first strikers where if you swing into it, you're dead. First strike on defense is ridiculous, and first strike on offense is like, okay, that's good enough. These half measure keywords, I like them. Also, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands from the top of your library. Okay, so mathematically that should be relevant about 1/3 of the time, but whatever. Anybody notice the font looks really funny on this card? Like the font spacing and the letters? Anyway, if you pay 6, she gets +8 or plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. Well, at least you have to pay for it instead of them just slapping that right on the card. This is actually like an appropriately 3 to 6 curved proper actual card. This is what fair and balanced cards look like right here. Do this on every card, wizards. Next, that'd be a card that probably just should have been titled Do a Blue Thing because it has 5 modes on it and it's all blue things, but it's a 6 cost instant. I think that puts it out of reasonable playability, but it's not impossible to get to 6 in standard, so we'll see. Pretty flexible card, obviously. So it says choose one or more, counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability. The option to do either of those is huge. Then return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, a bounce spell for 6. Geez. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, or target player draws a card. Now here's the thing. I said it was modal and I just gave the options. It says choose one or more. You could do all 5 if you wanted. Otherwise, if it's like, oh, I'm paying 6 and I'm going to choose target player draws a card, you're drawing 1 card for 6 mana. What the hell's wrong with you? So of course it says choose one or more. So obviously in reading it, unless you really need to counter a spell or stop an ability like a Planeswalker ult or something, you're just going to pick the bottom 3, all 3 of them. So return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Yeah, whatever. Their biggest, baddest creature, whatever has the most auras or whatever. Then create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Obviously you're going to do that. And then draw a card because why wouldn't you? Now this is instant speed, so you could just wait until your opponent is about to cast a spell, and then when they do, or use an ability, then you counterspell it, then do the bottom 3. So 6 is a lot, but if you think your deck can get to 6 reasonably, I would run 4 of it. So we'll have to see. That people are comparing this to Cryptic Command. I think it's quite a bit more powerful and a little bit different, obviously, because you can do everything on the card. But keep in mind, Cryptic is only 4 mana as well, and 3 of the mana in the cost is blue. And it's still played in certain decks. So this should be really interesting. The fact that you can clone this spell on the stack, though, just pisses me off. Anything with Izzet, it's just going to be ridiculous with this. And if you think you can pay 6 to get out Niv Mizzet, of course you're going to run this too. Unless that's the long shot, win con or something. If you think you can ramp into Niv Mizzet or, you're running 28 lands or whatever, yeah, I'd run this. Next up, Kitesail Freebooter. Yeah, we get to deal with this piece of crap again. At least it's not true hand disruption. I don't like the hand spy on turn 2. That's incredibly annoying. They should let you choose the card, but if you kill this thing, you get the card back. So, I don't like them knowing exactly what I have in hand. That's really flippin' annoying, and then picking whatever they want from it. Oh, non-creature, non-land, so I guess not quite anything they want, but I thought this one let you cast it. I must be thinking of a slightly different one. So it's not that bad, it's just so annoying when you get hit by this. Next up, more Izzet crap with Experimental Overload. It's a sorcery 4 cost and create an XX blue and red weird creature token with X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Then you may return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile this card. Because my god, would you not want to do this multiple times? So yeah, it's a throwaway token, but it could be big. I don't know if this is really reasonably worth doing in an Izzet Drake stack, but if it was 3, I'd throw it in. 4, you're kind of getting up there. You might as well just win with the dragon. Next up, a reprint of Volcanic Geyser with the old school artwork. Cool. And it's a double red plus X instant spell, and it deals X damage to any target. So this is like Heat Ray, except for an extra red mana, you get to target anything. Pretty darn good card. Nowhere near as good as Banefire, but that's good. I'm kind of sick of Banefire. So you know this damage is going to get tripled, right? Like we're on the same page here with that, right? Next up, oh my God, it's the cat card to end all cat card. I need this in my life immediately. I need this in foil. I need a playset of this in foil. I need to buy the original artwork signed by the artist. I need to sell my car and put this on a billboard on my front lawn. Okay, what does it do? So it's a 3-cost double white enchantment. That's huge. We needed that for devotion, even though, you know, white life gain devotion is just batshit crazy right now. It's hexproof, so you ain't getting rid of this. And if a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an incarnation counter on 9 lives. When there are 9 or more incarnation counters on 9 lives, exile it. When it leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. I knew it was going to say that. I knew it. You couldn't let this do anything other than that. So if you take damage from 9 instances from 9 sources, you lose the game. I'm not sure I could even honestly call this a good card. Well, not in standard. Okay, in other formats, if you have a way to remove 1 or more or all the counters from this, you are just never going to lose. There's one thing in standard that immediately comes to mind. In response to the you lose the game trigger going on the stack, you could cast that blue spell that ends the current turn. Then the triggered ability would get exiled, which I still think that's not the right term, but it would get removed from the stack, and then the turn would be over. I'm pretty sure that would work, although to get it to work on Arena, you'd have to hit Control to turn on full control mode. That'd be a pretty ballsy move, I gotta say, but stopping all damage, I mean, especially on turn 3, ooh. You could also just cast Repudiate, just straight up stop the ability. Or you could obviously try to exile it yourself, but, well, good luck doing that at instant speed in case they're about to do a bunch of damage to you. I mean, it has Hexproof instead of Shroud. Hexproof means they can't target it. Shroud means neither of you can target it. So if this is getting up there in the damage count, just, exile it. But even at like 5, you could take damage from 4 sources all of a sudden with like haste and a shock spell or something. And on turn 3, you probably realistically would be stopping damage from like a Red Rush deck. So this is really dangerous. I don't love it, but I do love the artwork. Next up, we got Shacklegeist. It's a 2-cost 2/2 flying blue spirit, and it can only block creatures with flying. And then tap 2 untapped spirits you control, and tap target creature you don't control, which is not a good idea. Because then you can't attack, but if they summoned a 7/7 Indestructible Angel, well, time to get that bitch out of the way. Next up, we got Sanctum of the Fruitful Harvest. It's a 3-cost, uncommon, unnamed legendary enchantment. Now, that is interesting. It's a shrine, which, if they bring back those 5 shrines to anything other than historic, I'm going to lose my shit, okay? If they print them verbatim, it is over for the game. I played against it once in historic, and once is enough. Them outdrawing me 3-1 while making me discard 3 cards every upkeep, I was super done with that shit. For the record, I beat him. So at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add X mana of any 1 color where X is the number of shrines you control. Yeah, here we go. I, right off the bat, just hate this card. I hate what it indicates, I hate what it suggests, I hate everything about it. Next up, we've got, another shrine right away. Okay, I could have looked ahead, but I don't. Sanctum of the Shattered Heights. Great, so we're going to get 5 shrines in standard, aren't we? Awesome! These better not be as ridiculously oppressive, abusive bullshit as the ones that they added to historic. So, you pay 1, discard a land card or shrine card. Okay. And then Sanctum of Shattered Heights deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker where X is the number of shrines you control. That is borderline unplayable. Good. You should look up what the other ones do. Next up, Sanctum of the Stone Fangs. It's a 2-cost, black legendary enchantment shrine. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, each opponent loses X life. Here we go. And you gain X life where X is the number of shrines you control. Wonderful. This is actually playable enough to put into a mono black or a black-white life-based deck, let alone a 5-shrine deck, which is now a 4-shrine deck because that red one's useless. Then we've got Sanctum of Calm Waters. It's a 4-cost, so it must be pretty good. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may draw X cards where X is the number of shrines you control. If you do discard a card, well, that just pumps the brakes right on it, doesn't it? I think the other blue one that they added to Historic is literally just draw the damn cards. And the black one, by the way, is your opponent discards the cards equal to the number of shrines you have. So basically, they can't hold anything in hand ever again. It is such a bullshit control deck. So next up, we've got the last one, I believe, Sanctum of Tranquil Light. This one's weird. It's a 1-drop in white, and then you have to pay 6. Tap target creature, and then this ability costs 1 less to activate for each shrine you control. Or just run Entrancing Lyre, it's better. Well, it depends how big the thing is you want to pin down, but it's still overall a better card. And it's standard legal and it's colorless. Oh, and then next up, this is a surprise, although I didn't look at these at all. Sanctum of All. It's a 5-color Skittles shrine to the Skittles god. And once it comes into play, you taste the rainbow. Also, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library and or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield, because why the hell not? If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If an ability of another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. Wonderful. I'm triggered an additional time just reading this. Well, I guess it is back to a 5-color shrine deck then, so yeah, I kind of hate this. Honestly, looking at them, just taking them all together and what they do as a whole, I don't think a 5-shrine deck is going to work by itself as like that being the gimmick, but do I think somebody might add it as an interesting way to run an existing 5-color deck that does something else? Maybe, like a Super Friends deck with a shrine backend or something. I could see that, it's possible. Next up, because green needed another counterspell, we've got Ranger's Guile. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn for 1 green. It's a damn good card. It's just now we've got God's Willing and this and Heroic Intervention. It's like now every color can just stop, a very detrimental spell in most cases. Kind of annoying considering the amount of control already in the game, but then again, considering the amount of control in the game, maybe you do need this to stop, your creatures from getting blown up every other turn. Doesn't stop a board wipe though, which is how most people are doing it. So next up we got Baron, or maybe Baron. I'll say Baron because then I can pretend his last name is Trump, and that's him from the future when he becomes a time traveler. By the way, did anybody notice that kid in about 90 days grew like a foot? Like that, no human can do that. Anyway, he's a Tolarian Archmage. He's a double blue devotion. Oh boy, 3-cost 2/2 legendary creature human wizard. And when Baron Trump Tolarian Archmage or Archmage or however you want to say it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Okay, nice little bounce ability. Could be one they own, could be one you own, so flexibility there. And at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Oh, somebody's hinting at a trampoline deck, except it would be your hand. So usually a trampoline deck bounces everything your opponent has back to their hand until they're ready to throw a piece of furniture at you. But this one would have to be your own stuff. So we're looking at ETB cloning, which already is toxic AIDS, cancer, Ebola garbage with Yorion. I don't know, nothing really wrong with this card other than what it suggests people might be playing as a new archetype. Next up, we got Mistral Singer. It's a 2/2 for 3 flyer with prowess. Just, kind of generic blah flyer. Not good enough to go in a constructed prowess deck, but you could probably draft it. Then we got Ghostly Pilferer. He's a spirit rogue, 2/1 for 2. Whenever Ghostly Pilferer becomes untapped, you may pay 2 mana if you do draw a card. Now, that would be during your untap step, which is before draw. So you don't know if you got the card you needed or if you need mana to spend on the card you just drew. So it is a bit of a gamble. I've played decks like this. Then whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, they lose the game. Just kidding, I wish. Draw a card. Hopefully it's a counterspell or board wipe. Then discard a card, and it can't be blocked this turn. But it doesn't have an on-hit ability, which is really weird because the art and the subtype and the name would recommend that it does have like a hit and draw effect, but I assume it probably did and they took it off the card. I mean, also the text wouldn't physically fit in the box, so that's a problem. Well, I mean, once again, if you have an unblockable creature or an unblockable option, start piling counters on them, equipment, auras, whatever, and then just win the game. So, that last ability is a thing. It could happen. I love this. Instead of just, I slapped in a 1-drop that I really don't need at all, does nothing in my deck, but now you can't play something from a certain zone. Oh, look, your whole deck's shut down, forfeit, yay. I mean, good, somebody playing some degenerate, free casting bullshit deserves it, but that's so boring. I'd rather it just be like, okay, I'm going to penalize you for playing this broken bullshit. The problem is fitting this guy into any kind of deck. He doesn't really do anything. It's just, you want to draw a bunch of cards? Cool. Would I really drop this into an Esper control deck that wipes the board every other turn? Probably not. But I hope he goes into something, because this guy is awesome. So that's it for today's spoilers. Some actually kind of exciting looking cards, if you ignore the fact that Standard will be an unplayable shitstorm. So in Magical Pretend Fantasyland, I'm excited about playing with these cards. In reality, no. But congrats to all the Commander players who just picked up some interesting cards. So we're actually only sitting at 168 known cards out of 274 in this set, so should be interesting. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more spoilers in the future, and deck techs and gameplays and whatever else I decide to upload. Also, we have a very interesting video coming out tomorrow. Don't miss it. Who's we? Me and the voices in my head, because there ain't nobody else working here. But anyway, we'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.